us out to go, I guess, meet Kyrie. The team, want to say bye to him. Thanks for the game. So while we're in the tunnel, Kobe's actually in the tunnel.
It's your boy Crispy, the Keep It Crispy podcast. We are back at it. It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood here. We got a really special guest in the building today. We ain't going to try to, come and introduce him because you guys already know what it is. My man over here is a NYC Tri-State Hoops legend. If you guys have been living under a rock, if you are in that scene, you know who I'm talking about. My brother Fleezuz in the building. Let's give a little clap here. All right. Fleezuz, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? What's going on? Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Nah, man. This was a long time coming, man, because we wanted to start this podcast back when I met you.
Right.
And literally 3 years later, I was like, we got to get Fleezus on the pod,
You
bro.
had to put this first, so I get it.
We had to decorate this and do this thing from scratch, man. So, but what's going on with you? Tell us what's new, what you working on right now?
Nothing much, man. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just trying to do a little bit of everything right now. This was my first season, kind of not on the AAU scene. So now back to just refocusing, the bigger picture of things, getting all those relationships that I've been doing these past couple years. Because like you said, I've been on the scene for a while now. This would be year 9 wrapping up, to be honest.
Wow.
That I've, been putting on the grind in terms of this basketball grassroots thing and just chasing my passion, being around basketball and being in basketball. So
yeah,
just kind of trying to stay within that,
Nah, for sure. You know what's crazy? Your path, me and you have a little bit different paths, but it all stemmed from hoops and basketball.
Facts. Now, we are definitely very, very similar. I thought about that, before, jumping on here. I was like, yo, we got a lot of shit in common.
Yo, it's crazy, bro. And that's why we want to talk about that real quick. So let's bring it kind of back to, where you grew up, how was, your adolescence in the neighborhood and stuff like that. What were you into and that kind of stuff?
I had an interesting upbringing, a dope one, if you ask me. Grew up in Upper East Side. I'd like to say Harlem, New York. So I'm from New York. Went to high school in the Bronx, Cardinal Hayes High School. And where I lived in New York, it was kind of that fine borderline. You would walk, a couple blocks one way, be, a very nice neighborhood, very safe, very chill. And then, you can walk a couple blocks the other way and, you in quote unquote the hood. So
yeah.
I kind of, think, having the best of both worlds growing up, kind of made me who I am, shaped me who I am. But yeah, from New York, born and raised. Happy to be from New York.
That's dope, bro. That's what's up, man. So did you always, when you were real small, were you always into basketball? What were you into growing up?
I would definitely say so. I was into sports pretty young as I can remember, maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, stuff like that. But that was kind of my dad got me into sports for sure. It would be his way to kind of, do activities with me on the weekend. So I was in a lot of house leagues growing up, and my love for baseball and basketball was very, very real up until high school. And then I would say in high school it shifted to more basketball for sure.
Really? Did you play on Cardinal Hayes?
I did. So Michael Jordan story, I got cut my freshman year.
No way.
Yeah, I got cut my freshman year. I wasn't like some of these kids you see today who are really, really good at a young age. I probably wouldn't say I got good at basketball till probably 16, maybe 17. And then honestly, I'd say college and beyond. But early on, got cut. Then came back my sophomore year, made the JV team, got MVP. We didn't make the playoffs. But, I improved. So
yeah.
it just showed me, all right, I wanted this bad. Work on it, come back. And, from there, I stayed on to the basketball program, varsity my junior year, where we won city and state. Shout out to my Hayes guys.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, Cardinal Hayes is,
yeah. So
if I'm not mistaken, it was one of the top.
So back then we were in the A division. Right now they're in the double A. But yeah, still New York City Hoops, CHSAA. That division is still going strong. Yeah, that's where I came from. So I can say I won a city championship, a state championship. Not a lot of people could say that. So
how did that feel when that happened?
It felt good. It definitely felt good. It was a little bit unprecedented. We knew we were a decent team and whatnot, but it wasn't until we were just winning a lot of games in a row and stringing a lot of wins in where it was holy crap, we're about to, we're in the playoffs, we might be able to win the championship. Then there's games after that, hold on a second.
Yeah.
So we were able to do that, and we went to Glens Falls Federation, and we lost the final game, basically, on a buzzer beater.
Who'd you lose to?
Peekskill High School. They had Mookie Jones back in the day, and he hit the buzzer beater. Went to Syracuse, and
man, that's crazy. At a buzzer beater.
Yeah, it hurt, but still got the ring. I think I left it in the
car. You should have brought that. That's fire.
It's all good. We'll edit that in there later.
Yo, for sure. Let's pop Fleezuz' ring, right? Big front center of the screen.
We'll edit that later. But
you ran the point over there?
I was a backup point, so I have a very good friend still who was my point guard, and I played a little bit of two. So when he was in and I was in at the same time, I played a little bit of the one and the two. So small guard, 5'9", New York.
Oh no, that's what it's at. That's New York's known for the guards, man.
Facts.
So I can remember Sebastian Telfair back in the day.
My era coming up was Kemba Walker. So if you guys
Kemba
are good
Walker,
at math, calculate the age. I ain't gonna tell you nothing, but
for sure.
That's my high school class. But back then, it was fun. It was fun, man.
Who's like the hardest player you had to guard? Do you remember in high school? I know you got some stories with that.
It comes up right away, man. It comes up right away. So, like I said, we Kemba Walker. We never got to play Rice, but I played it like against those type of guys. Gerald Coles we played against. Actually had a good game against Gerald. That's my friend too.
Yeah.
I remember I had some buckets against them. But I would say Christ the King back in the day. There were two guards at the time. Irvin Walker, who ended up going to Florida, and Malik Booth, who went to St. John's, I believe. Those two guys. And I didn't guard Irv. My other point guard that I told you about earlier. He went back and forth at it with Irv. But I had Malik. And if you guys know who Malik is, back then he was just probably like a 5'8" bull.
Jeez.
Just super stocky. So I remember we got a scrimmage against those guys because they were AA, we were A, and he gets it on the wing, takes me to the rack, no problem. So I'm like, all right, look at my coach. He just kind of looks at me. I'm like, whatever. And literally like 30 seconds later, transition happens again. Another muscle bucket. And in my head, I'm just like, all right, this kid's better than me.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah,
but
I mean.
Those type of players. Sylvan Landsbergs back in the day.
Yeah. Nah, that's dope. Did anybody like out of your class go to the league? From Cardinal Hayes or like a little after you graduated?
I think one of the furthest ones. He was a class before me, James Feldine. He plays overseas now. He plays in Dominican Republic, national team sometimes. Was a buddy of Edgar Sosa's. So probably that level. I'm trying to think to the league. Nah, I'm trying to think now because I don't have any friends that's my age. I can call up like, yo, what's up, man? Remember, now it's all the young guys going to the league. But not guys my age.
Nah, that's dope though. So when you were like your senior year in high school, did you get recruited to like any basketball schools?
I'm glad you asked that question because I definitely wanted to kind of touch on this a little bit. So the answer to that is yes, a little bit. I got plenty of D2 looks. Lemoyne back then, I think Assumption College. Might have got some D1 letters that we didn't know about because coaches sometimes, or I don't even know if it probably still happens to this day, but back then, coaches could hold letters or letters would be sent to coaches in schools. So you would be at the disposal of them doing the goodwill and, forwarding that to you. So I remember stories of kids on my team not getting their letters to certain colleges. One kid not getting his McDonald's nominee letter, like kind of messed up shit. But most of the stuff came through. I was an academic kid, but like I said, a lot of D2s, and then I tried to go D1 towards like Ivy League and stuff like that, and then kind of alternate walked on at Holy Cross.
Really?
When I got there, yeah. So I went to Patriot League. Holy Cross was an alternate walk-on for them. Didn't really get to suit up or travel with the team like that. Got to practice with them a couple times like that, practice with the girls team, but I say all that to say this. Back then, it was kind of more fun for me. I think what you see more in this day and age is more of a defined, this kid's really trying to make it versus, this kid's just playing for fun. And I think back then, for me and most of my friends, it was just a fun thing. Like, especially, I'm 5'9". Like, let's be realistic. Like, my ceiling, for sure, like I said, I think a lot of people in my era would look up to Kemba Walker. He's the small guard who made it. Yeah. And shout out to him. He just got a contract at Monaco. Now, life after the NBA. So he's about to go play with, what's homeboy's names I was playing with Brooklyn? Mike James, that other guard. Yeah. So they're about to be on teammates, and he's going to continue his career out there. But,
wow. So would you say that is like a big difference between how kids are getting recruited today from when like me and you was in school coming up?
For sure. First and foremost, you got to want it. And I think the level of training and talent that needs to go into it today needs to happen like kind of early. Back in the day, you have those stories of like the Tim Duncans that, you know, haven't played basketball till they were 17 and then made it. You could have those stories today. They're more few and far between, but I think today those kids are definitely locked in from earlier. The recruiting is different, and yeah, the talent, I would say the talent is better today. But back in the day, had a lot more of that heart, that grit, that, you know, we're not friends on the court type of thing. And like more of the struggle, like I gotta make it. Nowadays, kids, I feel like they don't gotta make it, you know? Back in the day, I did.
Back in the day, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like back in the day, too, like we didn't have social media or anything, no mixtapes of us balling out. Like,
I wish.
Wouldn't it have been so different?
I wish. You know what it was back in the day? And I have one. So it was a picture. This was before Instagram. It was called Max Preps, which is still around.
Oh, yeah, Max Preps.
So if you got a picture from Max Preps, you were somewhat good, because they didn't take pictures of guys on the roster 1 through 10. You know, they were taking pictures of top 2 or 3 guys, or guys that were scoring highs that game. So I remember I had a game one time, I had like maybe 15 points, and I got me a picture. So
oh yeah, that's big.
I'm still able to show people that picture to this day, and that'll be my caption, like, yo,
yeah, I made it.
You had to be a little somebody to get a picture.
Or the newspaper player of the week, right?
That was my boy Jeff getting those.
Yeah?
I wasn't in the newspaper, but
the newspaper was another level.
I got me a little Max Preps, and, you know, hopefully maybe they slid that in the newspaper. I never saw it.
No, that's dope, though. Wow, that's cool. So when you walked on to, like, Holy Cross, like how did that happen, and what happened after that?
I mean, I was just cognizant of the fact that that's even an option, like for kids who are like me, you know, not the heavily recruited D1, but stubborn enough to deny your D2s and want to try to go D1 anyway. You know, it's kind of like a message there. Like, probably should have went D2, would have had more fun, would have played. And I think that's what you see a lot today. You see a lot of kids going places that they're going to play, because you don't want to commit somewhere like, hey, let me go to Duke and then I'm sitting. You know, you want to play. So the process for me was just like, let me go to a school I think I can play at. So like I said, I mentioned earlier, like maybe some of those Ivy Leagues. And then I applied to Holy Cross because I ended up seeing it on TV one time. And I'm like, yo, I think I could, you know, possibly play here. They're high academic as well. So I ended up getting in, and they ended up being the only school to offer me a full scholarship. Wow. So when I'm looking at the list of schools like that, you know, to decide, I just looked at my mom and I'm like, I'm not going to make this hard. Like, I got a scholarship. I'm going to Holy Cross.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So didn't know anybody really going there except one kid in elementary school who ended up going there too. We didn't go to high school together, but
you just get connected paths out there.
Yeah, go back. So, but other than that, yeah, just took a chance, went out there, and it was cool. So
yeah. And
then when I was on campus, it was like, yeah, go for it, try out. You know, you never know.
So they had open tryouts.
Yeah, exactly. So getting back to the question, they do open tryouts. So if you guys don't know out there, and you're like kind of a regular kid, you can really train up, do an open tryout. Sometimes they do have preferred walk-ons, so a little bit of an obstacle, but yeah, sometimes they'll take a regular kid from campus who may fit the criteria, maybe the size of a practice player, has the heart, has some ability, and yeah, there you go, you got a walk-on. So
that's crazy, because when I graduated college, well, I didn't even graduate college, it only lasted like less than a year, but when I went, I was a walk-on at Boston Community College.
Fire.
Yeah, I mean, it's a community college, but
I didn't even know you went to school up there. See, that's why.
Roxbury Community College was the name
it's
of
an
it.
hour from Worcester.
So I know how that is. You just walk on. I mean, I didn't get that much time, but still, like, that's still what I love to do.
It was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. And then my other time spent on campus was in the field house, just with the regular, you know, campus population, which was fun because you know, I was kicking their ass.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the club team, we started back up the club team. So since I wasn't getting, you know, much traction on the D1, I was more watching and participating. Me and some of the better guys that weren't on the team was like, yo, let's start the club back up and let's play teams like, you know, Harvard Club and Clark Club. Dope. And yeah, we was doing that, kicking their ass and having some good games. So yeah, I got to have my fun.
Yeah, no, that's dope. So when did you like realize when you were doing all that all right, I gotta, you know, shift my focus to something else, or did you always strive to do, you know, more in D1 and go to different schools? Like what was the path after that?
It was just, like I said, it was kind of just fun in the moment. I knew I wasn't going to play overseas or anything like that or professionally, but I think kind of the fuse switched off like my senior year when it was like, all right, you're about to graduate, like you got to get a job. And I wasn't the kid that was in career services, you know, trying to be like, all right, let me get this internship, that internship. I was a psych major, so like I didn't really want to do like a psychology internship per se. some of the ones these other kids were doing look a little bit more cooler than per se a psych one. I more so didn't really know what exactly I wanted to do, but I had a friend who worked for ESPN at the time. Shout out to Matt Fortuna. He was an intern for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and then started working for ESPN, and he covered the Notre Dame, South Bend, like news stuff and all that. So he really dominated that, owned that. I would click on ESPN, you'd see his articles on the side, and I was inspired. I'm like, shit, like Matt is 23, 22, and I'm like about to be fresh out of college. I'm 22. I'm like, shit, I could possibly do this too. Let me hit him up and see, you know, what the steps were to it. And then it kind of just unfolded that way because my passion at the time was like sports writing and sports broadcasting. So
really?
So I was on like Tumblr just writing articles.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean,
you have a recruiting article,
yeah, exactly. So
and
I'll tell you kind of how that spiraled into stuff I do with the youth because
he's a man of many hats, guys. For
I was
sure.
working with Nike back in the day, retail, and I had a friend who started this company, which is now Made Hoops today, and you know, we were just retouching base, you know, because he was Nike corporate. I'm like, yo, man, I got a degree. I'm trying to climb higher. Like, what's up? And he's like, what are you into? What do you do? Same what you just asked me. So I'm like, yo, I'm into writing. I'm trying to gain some traction with that. Like, I got a couple articles. And he's like, yeah, like, let me see them. So I send him. He's like, I think I have something for you to do. And I didn't know what it was going to be at the time because I'm like, wait, you said you're about to do this tournament thing. So he's like, how about you write the game recaps for the tournaments? So I'm like, all right, like, that sounds cool. Like, I think I could do that. And lo and behold, that slowly became successful. We would throw these tournaments. These games would happen with, obviously, you know, the high-level competition that I deal with.
Sure.
I don't have to.
We're going to get into that. Yeah. Don't you worry about that.
So these games would happen, and I'm there just writing it up. Yo, such and such had 25 points and this and that. And then that just kind of grew from me getting better at what I was doing and then me making relationships with the people in the programs I was writing about. Because soon they would find out I was the writer. Like, they'd find the guy in the gym, like, you wrote that article, you know, that said I had a bad game or whatever the case was. But it was mostly all love when I was writing. But, so that kind of spiraled into that. And
wow. So you always had the eye, like what player is going to, like, do what? And I kind of figure, like, since the very beginning, like you said, how do you figure, like, who to write about and what they're going to do? You always probably had the eye of somebody, a player that's going to.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, I just copied off of what was there, like the blueprint. Like, I'm a big fan of, you know, obviously I watch SportsCenter a lot. Now there's so many different sports outlets out there as well. But, you know, just kind of like reporting the news. It's like, hey, man, go off who has the big game first. Obviously, like, all right, cool, this person had 30 points. But then since you really are evaluating, well, certain evaluators evaluate. Some claim they do. But when you really do it, it's like, nah, you give certain guys who do intangibles some love. Like, this guy may not have had 25 points. He had 6. But did you see the other shit he was doing all day? Like, hold on. This kid's name's got to go in the article. And I think that's when I started getting better. When I started, like, really breaking it down. Like, you know what? Let me not just write about who everybody thinks I'm going to write about, what they expect to hear from. Let me really break it down more and kind of, like, really dissect this and go into it.
Wow, that's dope. So how long were you doing that for, that whole article writing in the beginning?
You were asking the questions, man. Because they
were going back deep down.
It really just spiraled. So I was doing that. And as I was doing that, I would have to call guys like preseason and be like, hey, like, you know, what can I expect from your team? So now that turns into me and you having a phone conversation, and we've never met before. So now I meet you at the event, and it's like, oh, yo, it's, you know, who I was talking to or whatever. So now we have a relationship. So that kind of, you know, spiraled into me, you know, kind of helping get people to, you know, sign up for the tournaments. Like, yo, let me call Chris, see if he wants to, you know, jump in with his team and whatnot. So I was kind of jumping more so on the management, like, side, operations of things.
I got you.
You know, event supervision. So that spiraled into that, and now I'm doing a little less writing and more like evaluating, supervising, making sure like stuff's running a little bit as this event is growing and growing and growing. So it went from evaluating to basically directing events and site supervising kind of, and just doing operational stuff.
Yeah, because you like the plug for everything. Like, you know where everything fits to work and like where this is, who this is. You know what I mean? That's how I always looked at you. I'm like, Fleezuz is the man. If you need anything hoops, I mean, you go to him.
Nah, it evolved into that, man. As a big timeline, like I said, 9 years going on 10. You know, I'm proud to go on 10, and the 10th year is interesting because I'm not attached to anything anymore. It's not like I'm attached to what I'm talking about. Previously, I'm not attached to an AAU program, a high school, really. So it's kind of like going out there naked a little bit, but with so much experience.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think I've probably got my 10,000 hours in by now. If you do the math, I've passed that. So I'm just trying to, take it to the top, get into more management stuff, consulting, just add value.
No, that's
add value
dope.
to all my relationships.
That's dope. How did the New York Renaissance team, how did that all happen?
So that spiraled off of basically me working with this tournament group, Made Hoops. So obviously we housed all the teams such as the Renaissance, the Lightning, PSA Cardinals, you name it, all the EYBL teams. So eventually, kind of a fixation grew with me in the Renaissance. Like, they were a dope team at the time. A lot of energy. They were winning. So I became, maybe a little bit of a fanboy.
Who they have on the team back then when you started?
Musa Cisse, Shane Dezzoni, TJ Morris, Sterling Brown? No, Sterling Jones. Sorry, Sterling. Sterling Jones. They had a talented bunch, and that's what you see. I'm fortunate. Little sidetrack. I kind of deal with a lot of elite basketball. That's what this tournament space I'm talking about is, Made Hoops. It's elite level kids. I mean, kids that, put a lot of work in the gym, are, oversized at their age, like kids that are going to play varsity early on in high school and go on to D1 school. So when a lot of my friends be like, yo, how do you know these kids that are so talented? I'm like, yo, I luckily, got into this pipeline that already deals with that. Like, I'm not dealing with your typical kids that you really have to, help and develop their skills. Nah, these kids are the stars of tomorrow.
Top cream of the crop that you're talking about.
And basically, I segued into that from the tournament space. So went from working to a tournament that housed a lot of teams to working for the Rens, like you said, because they had a need for a director of operations at the time, and I jumped on it.
Oh, so that's what was happening.
Yeah,
I was always wondering, Fleezuz is always with the Renaissance team. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but
it's good. I'm happy you say that because a lot of people think I coach. They're like, "Yo, how's coaching going?" I'm like, I always say, "Yeah, it's all right, it's going okay," but I don't coach, y'all. I don't coach. I mean, I would I'd do it at a hoop group camp. I've got passion for it, but that's not what I want to do. Especially. Maybe work your way up. You have to be an assistant before you become the head honcho. I'd love to be like the Celtics coach. Oh yeah. If you ask me to coach, then I'll coach.
Yeah, he's 30, sure.
He's 34. I'm not far off. Like I said, do the Kemba Walker math. But yeah, if somebody put me in that role, we're like, yo, you're the head coach of the Knicks. Oh, I'm getting up. I'm putting the suit on. I'm putting the crispy Knicks shorts on. We coaching. But my role is to be more so around it. More close to the players, the what do you call it? The program.
Yeah.
If it's in the future working for an NBA program, being cool with all those guys, that make it work.
Yeah, no, for sure. Is that where you met JK at the Renaissance team?
I did. The first time I saw JK was at a CP3 camp though, when he was basically a rising 9th grader. So I saw him there, met him real quick at a Cheesecake Factory, said what's up because he was with somebody, got introduced. I was like, yeah, no, I seen this kid play basically all week at camp, talented, hey, it was very light. And lo and behold, crazy story. Won't even tell it because it's just too crazy. Or not even crazy, just long. But yeah, he ends up playing for the Rens while I'm working there. And yeah, we kind of hit it off. He played his freshman year, 17U. We were cool then, but our relationship grew more and more year by year.
Yeah, now shout out to Jonathan Kaminga, man. That's my guy too. That's how we actually met, which is a crazy story.
Facts.
He was my first athlete that I've ever reached out to and wore my stuff. So
fire. He's a dope guy. He's super attentive, super loving. He comes from that, and I'm sure he saw you reach out and was like, nah, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. Yeah, he's a beast. But who are some of the other players that top notch? Cream of the crop that you've been working with?
Jonathan Kaminga, I would say I'm close to. I mean, a lot of these kids, man, there's so many to name. But obviously, you could say everybody who came through the Renaissance program that came through there while I was there. It was a pleasure working with you guys, being around you guys. Simeon Wilcher, another kid I'm very close to, just from even on the Made Hoop side. Caleb Wilcher, his older brother. Noah Farrakhan. I would say those guys are year one Made Hoops guys. Wendell Moore.
What happened to Noah? Didn't he go to Carolina or something? West Carolina?
He went to East Carolina and then transferred to Eastern Michigan. So he was just playing with Amani. So He's been he's still out there though.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Pay attention to that. He's not done.
Yeah, no, for sure.
He's not done. But a lot of those guys, Noah, C.J. Wilcher, Kayla, Simeon Wilcher, Chance Westry, who's now at Syracuse. You know Chance.
My man, Chance. Yeah.
But a lot of these kids, you know, Niles Cunningham, Dylan Harper. I don't want to see her name kids. Tyler Betsy. Big Tyler Betsy fan.
That's
Tahad, all these guys.
Yeah, nah.
Jalen Grant.
Jalen in the building over here. He's next up for sure.
Yeah, a lot of guys.
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. So that like now, how is it like? Because personally, for me, when I'm around like younger kids than myself, I just feel energized, and I just think that you know what I'm saying. Like that's just gonna push me.
Right.
I don't want to be around somebody that's not out there in the scene. Is that how you feel too?
I mean, yeah, I think that's kind of my power, or kind of how I gravitate, or they gravitated towards me, or we gravitated towards each other, for a better phrase. Yeah, I'm a young guy myself. I still don't feel like I'm the adult that has to go to bed at 9 p.m. or can't has to be too serious all the time. Like, nah, I have my fun. I'm still young. So I feel like we see that similarity in each other, and it's like a real cool relationship could be formed. Whereas like a Stephen A. Smith walks in the gym, it's more professional,
Yeah,
not trying to say I'm not trying to be professional or Stephen A. Smith. That's actually somebody I really look up to. But I'm just saying they can kind of see somebody that looks like themselves. And then, once they kind of connect the dots, or, I introduce myself, forget them having to connect the dots. Like, let me go out there and say, hey, I'm such and such. This is what I do. But even the other way, some kids have found out, like I said earlier, oh, he's the one who writes the articles. Like, oh, that's what he looks like. Like, oh man, he's cool.
Dope,
like, so the comfortability comes in there, and that's how these relationships form. And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's exactly how they formed me too, man. Those are one of the most important relationships that I ever formed.
For sure.
Is with these athletes, with you and everybody around. So that's pretty dope.
One of Nike's slogans is youth is energy. So I heavily believed in that, and staying around the kids helps me feel young and stay young. So
yeah, that's dope. Speaking of Stephen A. Smith, didn't he just get somebody? What's his name? That's joining the show.
He got Shannon. Got Shannon. I saw that literally today, which I think is cool because I thought everybody saying Shannon was gonna go to where?
I think it was a show. Yeah, it was another show. I can't remember what it was.
I forgot who they said he was gonna pair him with, but I was like, I wouldn't even want to see that either. But I'm glad that.
It's a good tandem.
Oh yeah, for 2 days out the week, that should be all right.
Yeah, nah, it's gonna be dope.
I can see them going at it a little bit, but also getting some real good conversation off as well.
Yeah, nah, exactly. Sometimes you gotta go at it and like have different opinions, just to keep things interesting.
Facts.
I don't like following the rules and what everybody says to do. I always like to just go off course a little bit,
especially when you're doing your own thing. It's like, let me do it my way. Yeah,
nah, for sure. So when you left the Renaissance, how long ago did you leave?
Literally, so this past year, basically. So I didn't participate this 2023 AAU year, basically. So I was there for the past, what was it, 4 or 5 years? Like I said, it's coming up on year 10. So yeah, I think I did like about 5 summers with those guys.
That's dope.
And it was dope, man.
That's great.
Even through COVID and it all, it was so dope.
Yeah, through COVID too. That's a whole nother topic right there.
So many stories.
Wow. So what? I gotta ask you, what's like the craziest story that you got while you were with the program, or like as soon as you got out of college, throughout the whole hoop scene? Like, I know you had to have some crazy story
man. I mean, probably something to do with driving and learning how to drive, because I have to drive kids, or just, be of use. You're a coach. Hey, you got to drive some kids back or take them to go eat. And I would just say some, maybe some driving stories. Maybe me hitting a little, thing out when I'm getting out of Wendy's, hitting the yellow pole, and all the kids kind of laughing and me losing my shit. Like, yo, fuck, shit.
You're losing it, yeah.
But it just funny stuff. And also just being around the kids and them being kids around me and not like having to censor themselves.
Yeah.
So like just me being able to enjoy them and their personalities, just memories I'll cherish forever, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. And let's talk a little bit about how you met the legend that you're wearing right over there, Kobe.
Oh man, wow, I didn't even know you were gonna bring that up.
Yeah, I had to.
So yeah, that was at my time when I was helping out with the Patriot School while JK was there. I literally just told this story. I probably told the story the other day.
Yeah.
We were at a game. It was the Nets versus the Hawks. I think Trae Young had like 51 during his game.
Jeez.
So Kobe's there with Gigi. And they're courtside, obviously. So we're in the suite, and we see them walk in on a Jumbotron, obviously. And I'm a big Kobe fan, like huge Kobe fan. So I'm up there. I'm trying to act cool. I'm like, wow, Kobe is in the building at a game I'm at. Like, all right, now the crazy in me, I'm talking to myself in my head. I'm like, I should just fucking run down there and get kicked out. Like, so I'm telling the kids, I'm joking with them. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to run down there at halftime, say what's up. Like, I'll see y'all after the game. So whatever. I obviously don't do any of that crazy stuff. I chill out. We watch the game. After the game, the team goes down to, I guess, the tunnel. They walk us out to go, I guess, meet Kyrie. The team, want to say bye to him. Thanks for the game. So while we're in the tunnel, Kobe's actually in the tunnel. Like, he was saying something to somebody and waving and leaving, and literally kind of gets in his big car, big Suburban, whatever, big back car, while the whole team's like standing outside of the other end, and we're all like kind of like, Kobe, like, say what's up. Yeah. So somebody like kind of says like, yo, we're the Patrick school, Kyrie's school, and like we got the number one player like Jonathan Kuminga. So like all of a sudden it's like a quick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 second pause. The fucking door swings back open. And I had that same reaction right there in my head. I'm like, yo, this is not happening right now.
That's
like,
wild.
My favorite player is not getting out that car to come like say what's up to the team right now. And sure enough, he was. Gigi stayed in the car. He's like, probably was like, yo, stay in the car. I'm gonna say what's up. So he sure enough did, and he gave those kids about 3 minutes of glory right there. Yeah, we got to take a picture with them, and that was literally probably like a month before he passed away.
Damn. Yeah. That's wild, bro. Just for you had an opportunity like that. That's
divine timing, man. The universe works in mysterious ways, and I was very close to him. I think I got like a little video, but yeah, he spoke to JK. Kind of had some words with him, and then I think JK spoke about this recently too. Like they ended up following each other and like DMing back and forth. JK showed me too.
Damn,
like, we were in the car,
really?
And he thought it was funny. He's like, look, like Kobe just followed me and DM me. And I'm looking at him like.
The magnitude of this.
Yeah, it's not me. Like, I wanted to be like, so, but, it was crazy.
Man, that's dope, man. That energy right there, that was crazy.
R.I.P. Kobe.
Yeah, R.I.P. for sure. So, what are some of the goals that you have now? You know what I mean? Like, where do you see Fleezuz in 5 years from now?
Go to the league. I'm trying to go to the league, too.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to play, though. Let's go. I ain't trying to play, but I'm trying to make plays. So, I would say that, definitely try to just, continue being around basketball in the highest capacity and quality I could possibly be in. Some sort of management, some sort of styling possibly. Again, helping myself and just other people create lanes and avenues, and we can all work together. It's just like, what do you want to do? What are you good at? Like, I'm just trying to, again, add value, maximize my potential and skill set and all that type of stuff. So
I definitely see you guys having your own agency.
I mean,
1,000%.
A lot of people say like agency stuff and agent. Like, I don't know if I want to be an agent. Like, I always used to say like years ago, like I don't think my idea of what an agent is what an agent is. And I don't think it was, And now me more understanding what agents do and stuff. Like, I don't know. I just still think I want to be involved in management, but I do have relationships with agencies and agents, and like as a manager, you will still need to have that. But part of me also might just get my license and say fuck it, just to have it, because it's an obstacle as a manager sometimes when you're trying to help with kids. Sometimes agents could kind of try to like push you out the way. That way they can have all the influence on everything that gets done. But
you need a license for that
to be an agent. Yeah. And back before, I think you needed to have like a law school degree or go to law school for a certain amount of time in order to get it. Now that's not true. You just got to take a test, get certified, pay and renew it, and so anybody can be an agent. You just got to pass the test.
Nah, I never knew that. It's like a real estate agent then, basically.
Yeah, no, anybody can do it.
I did not know that.
But I don't think you just want to go with anybody.
Yeah, you just don't want to do that if you've not been in the scene. Nah, for sure.
But anybody could do it.
Wow. Was there any times like that because I always ask our guests this, just to let the people know that not everything is like fun and dandy and white picket fences.
Facts.
So was there any times that you just felt like giving it all up and saying, you know what, this basketball thing ain't for me?
Shit, I might have said that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, hey.
I mean, it gets hard, man, especially doing something so long, but you gotta find beauty in it. Like, you gotta find beauty in the struggle. You gotta sometimes reassess things, whether it's with your loved ones or if you could psychoanalyze yourself, talk to yourself. It sounds crazy, but if you can kind of like pull yourself through certain stuff and just kind of reevaluate and say, you know what, it's been hard, but you see a lot of memes. It's like, you're further than you were when you started, so why stop and turn the fuck around? So like, I have those type of moments where you beat yourself up, but it's like, you know what, you pick yourself right back up and you just keep going. So yeah, I've had times like that for sure, but it's like, nah, man, I'm gonna win eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and even if I don't, I tried hard. I feel like people respected me. I didn't do anybody dirty, and I could live with that. So
see, that's a big thing. Like we always preach on this channel, like integrity is everything.
Facts.
And I knew that from the minute that I met you. I'm
oh,
like,
if I was a snake, I would have been made it.
yeah, nah, that's 100%. You do things the right way, it's gonna last longer, right or wrong.
Correct.
That's how we feel. So it's a good thing that you brought that up for sure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it for sure.
Now we got a lot of up and coming like athletes that watch the channel and the page and stuff like that. They might not be where they want to be. They have aspirations like all of us did growing up. Like, do you have any advice for them, or what would you tell them, you know, on how to improve their game and to, you know, make it to the next level?
For sure. I say just work hard. I also say comparison's the thief of joy. Don't try to compare yourself to every, you know, other guys. You know, I get it. You might want a measuring stick, or you might be, you know, envious of, man, this guy's like, I want to be this guy. But it's just like, you know what? Maybe if you have access to the guy, ask that guy how he got where he got. You know, like, yo, what makes you, you know, so good? And he might shed a secret to you and be like, yo, I just kind of, you know, work out, or, you know, this is my stress reliever. And that's how I got so good at it, because I just spent so much time at it. But
So don't be afraid, right, to ask.
Exactly. That's just a big life lesson. You know, closed mouths don't get fed. You definitely got to ask. You definitely got to, you know, put yourself out there. But I would just say my advice is work hard. Like, from what I've seen with a lot of these young athletes who do make it, and just knowing people who make it in business, period, even yourself, work fucking hard. Like, there's really nothing that beats that, you know? Not at all. Just put that extra work in. Again, have those pep talks with yourself. Or, you know, if you have a good support system, which is dope, and I hope a lot of people out there do, just lean on that and see it through.
100%. Would you say that hard work beats talent?
Yeah, it's cliche, absolutely, but, you know, shit. Yeah. Motherfucker talented. But yeah, no, in general, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, nah, for sure. We had that conversation a little while ago, so we wanted
How can it not? Because hard work, a person could work hard so much and fail, but it's like the lessons that you build while you fail, it's like, yo, even though he failed so many times, that motherfucker is tough. Like, I want him on my team. Because he could take disappointment. He could take getting beat up and thrown against the ropes and come back from that and still show up to work the next day and work his ass off. Like, I want him.
That's a fact.
You know? I don't want the person who won easy. You feel me? So.
Nah, that's a good way you put it. That's for sure true. Now, one of our mottos here that we always ask everybody what it means to them is the world is yours. So what would you say that means to you, in your own words?
Dang. It's definitely a mantra. Like, it's something I believe in. That's what I'll say it means to me. It's something I believe in, and I feel like I'd say I'd had early success in my life, you know, going to high school, college. But then it's like when you get out of college, it's like, all right, what do you do? Now you got to swim. But I've been patient with that, you know. I thought it was going to be a success. I'm going to have a job out of college making 60, 70, 80K back then, you know, right away. And it's like, yo, that didn't happen. But, you know, I have that patience. I have that grit to where it's going to be like, you know what? The world is yours. Just continue to work hard, be patient, plant your seeds. And, yeah, I've seen so many different people and situations and things play out right for other people. It's just like you got to kind of keep that faith and believe and just put the work in.
Yeah. So you got to keep believing. Believing is number one, and just don't slow down. I always say that too, and I know I never see you slow down. You don't see me slow down, and Facts. It's just, Facts. You know, we got to get to where we're going.
It's inspiring.
Yeah.
Seeing you do your thing for sure. I'll be in my shell, but I think that also helps. Like, don't compare yourself to people on success level, but just use them as motivation. Like, if you see somebody else keep going, like, take that and like go with it as well. Like, yo, nah, there's other people out here struggling and doing it too. I gotta go. Like, this person's my friend too. Like, nah, I gotta keep going.
I do the same thing, bro. Like, even if it's not in our industry, you know what I mean? I will see somebody going crazy at what they do, and it just nonstop here, showing up there, posting there, and I'm like, I can't slow down when they're out here doing that. Like, I gotta just keep going, and sometimes it's motivating. So,
Facts.
Yeah, definitely see other people as motivation. You know, don't see them as competition. Just, you know what I mean? Just get out there and do it. So
yeah, the world is yours. I don't care if I win on my deathbed. I'm gonna win eventually.
There you go. Perfect. Now, Flea, you want to shout out anybody real quick that you got? You know what I mean?
I said names earlier. Just shout out Lord above. Shout out my my parents and everybody who's, you know, helped me or just showed me love. You know, I don't really want to name names. I named a lot of the kids' names earlier. As you guys know, you know. who I'm close to, if I'm close to you. But just in general, I'm a big loving person. Shout out to everybody that's doing something positive, that needs love. You don't got nobody that's, motivating you or anything. I support you. I love you. But shout out to everybody. Just
facts.
Mad love, for real, for real.
100%. All right, cool. So now what we're going to do, we're going to wrap this things up. What we do is we go around the shop, and then you're going to pick your favorite pair of shorts that you can have it in the shop right here, right?
Okay.
And whatever your favorite pair is, people are going to comment below what they think you're going to pick as your favorite pair. If they guess it right, they can have one for free. We're going to pick a winner through the comments. So
okay.
You guys already know, man.
That's type fire.
We about to keep it crispy.
Uh-oh.
We out.